Jeremy Lyon, the singular lion.
Oh yeah.
The other red lion in my life.
Who's the first red lion in
So
your life?
okay, so me and my brother grew up in West Marin, Lagunitas, and we had our homie in our community. His name's Jeremy Gray,
Okay.
and total redhead like yourself.
Whoa.
And we had a band, in the early 20-tweens.
20. Okay. Not the aughts, but the tweens.
Yeah, the tweens. It was like a live hip hop group called the Optimistics.
Dope.
And our drummer was this sick reggae drummer, whose name was Jeremy, like yours. But in his music career, he was like total just went it full Rasta or style with the Ready Dreadies.
Oh yeah.
And so we'd always call him Red Lion, and then he embraced it. And that's like his.
That's like a stage name.
Yeah, it's his stage name now.
His moniker.
And then so
to this day.
To this day, yeah.
Hell yeah.
He just did a sick show with I don't know if you know President Brown or Tough Lion.
Oh yeah. Okay.
He's like a sick reggae drummer. Yeah, he's got all the fills.
Hell yeah.
So when me and Tony met you, we were like another like red Jeremy.
Was he going Lion like
yeah,
the animal?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm Ly, which you wouldn't really. If that was your stage
when we
name,
say
you
it,
choose the
there's
Y.
a Y in it. It's lined with a Y. I don't know if you guys caught that, but that's how I say it.
Yeah.
But we were like, dude, there's another red lion, and his last name's Lion. It's perfect. So I think Tony had this dream that someday we could convince you guys to do a collab. Red Lion
He's
Dream
drummer
or King Lion Dream.
Yeah. I'm working with John Courage. He's like a tall ginger man, amazing guitarist, and like total red curly fro. And so he's had this idea for an all ginger band called Stepchild. He's had this idea for a long time. So we're working on Stepchild.
Nice.
Side project.
Hell yeah.
Trio. I think we already have a drummer. I haven't met him yet, but he rocks and he's got red hair. So he kind of fits.
It might be the greatest hair color.
It's the first time having a band where like most people wouldn't qualify to be in it. You know? It just makes it simple. But we had a writing sesh, which was fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned that shooting you actually, the beauty of the red beard and like you had your hair down. It was like this beautiful angelic thing. And, as a videographer, like color is such a big part of my life. And I'm like, ooh, these reds, they're just cherried out.
Pushes
it
in a direction. Yeah. There's some colors that work for me and some that don't.
Yeah, dude. I was like filming a Renaissancean knight, a lord, if you will, resplendent with your tresses. And
I think I conditioned for that show. So that was a big one for
I could
me.
tell.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
We did the first night at Hot Monk Sebastopol, and I've had the hair up until we got on stage, and then Ben was like, you gotta let those fucking curls down, bro. And then I kind of toss it, but it's nice to have it ready to go before.
For sure, dude. You gotta let the eagle fly and let the locks fall,
Oh yeah.
I know. I when I see the long hair now, I miss my locks.
When did you cut it off?
I cut it off a year ago last fall. So it's been 2 years now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I went to Costa Rica and I came back. It'd been a 3-year voyage.
Yeah.
But as I'm sure you know, there's like that year where you just have bad hair.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like looking back on photo, like it feels like the in-between phase is like a few months. Mm-hmm. But then you just see photos of yourself from like a multiple year period where you're like, no, I think the in-between phase was a lot longer than
yeah, totally.
than I remembered it being in hindsight. But yeah, dude, I shed everywhere.
Yeah.
We were in the studio last night, and then Trev was just like finding my hair on the ground everywhere. I'm like, well, I've been pulling out my hair, making these records,
How's your hair tie game?
It's just
was that a
took a while
process
to figure that out. Yeah, it took a minute to figure that out. I kind of only just have that one move. I'm trying to learn the braids. I want to do the Willie braids.
What are the? Oh yeah, the Nelsons.
Yeah, so you gotta get the thin braids, and I can't really do them myself. Yeah, but
dude, that's a solid look though. I see that for you for sure.
Hey, so it's the next logical phase in the long hair.
It does like feel. I never could quite I never felt fully comfortable with the braids because of the scalp tension. But I respect it. Also, my hair is like very thin, and I felt like even though it got to like nipple length,
yeah,
when I would braid it, it would like suddenly be like and like shoot back up.
It would shoot up. I like the pull. I used to pull my hair out when I was a kid.
Oh, that's your thing?
Pulled out like a
hair pull?
whole bald patch in the front of my forehead without even realizing it. And there was just like a weird like semi-circle. Yeah, I think it's like trichotillomania or something.
Okay.
Like just pulling your hair out.
Trichotillomania. Dude, that's an album right there, bro.
Just like super aggro
for the stepbrothers
music.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Or step siblings. What's it called?
Yeah, stepchild.
Stepchild.
Yeah.
Telemecha aggro.
Yeah, we could. We need the lyrics. We were just writing it.
Dude, that's album to like concept album.
YouTube drummer groove. So
writes itself. That's dope, dude. Have you ever seen Almost Famous?
Oh yeah, of course,
dude.
Love
epic,
it.
Right?
Yeah.
I rewatched it like a year or two ago. I made Lesh watch it with me.
He never seen it?
No, doesn't watch a lot of movies, but I was like, bro, dude. This is the one that got us all fired up. And Fever Dog? I'm like, you got to hear Fever Dog, bro. I'm on this holy mission from God to find one of my rock band friends to cover Fever Dog. So it's just
good for Halloween.
There,
yeah,
dude.
That's got to be a in the Halloween running.
Yeah,
because we were thinking of covering like Walk Hard for a Halloween show once.
Yes,
and actually with Courage, we were talking about covering Beautiful Ride, like John C. Reilly's
100%.
retrospective life song. But yeah, and Philip Seymour Hoffman's great. Yeah, because he plays Lester Bangs in that movie. And Lester Bangs wrote crazy shit. I remember. There was like I'd taken like it was just like American music, like one of those kind of like GE classes at college or something. You take as a freshman, yeah. But yeah, it was like reading Lester Bangs stuff because he was like rock and roll's all about just like asserting yourself before you're ready. Like he was super into like Iggy Pop and especially, and it was just like that whole idea of just like jumping out and yelling, look at me before you really know what you're trying to say or
for sure
have anything figured out.
Dude, the line from that movie that always stuck with me from Philip Seymour Hoffman, where he's like, I know you want to be cool. You and me, we're not cool. Yeah. They're not your friends.
Yeah, they're not your friends.
So, dude, I wasn't sure if it was going to hold up. Because when I was in 7th grade and I watched that, it was like,
I
was in love with Kate Hudson. Of
course.
I wanted, it was like the rock star dream.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people's dreams got launched from that. But this time, I wasn't sure if it was going to hold up, but the movie was great. But I found her character almost unbearable.
Yeah.
Just the things she said they seemed really profound to like my 7th grade brain. Right.
Yeah.
And then I got to this age and I was like,
high and
troubled. They didn't quite.
But a bunch of people are in it, right? I mean, like Zooey Deschanel's the older sister.
You got Jason Lee, who's like the great front man.
Okay.
You're the mysterious guitar player. Right. I'm the front man. Yeah.
I think when I rewatched it a few years ago, and I think I was probably more impressed by. I'm trying to remember the lead guitarist's name in the movie. He's got this whole George Harrison vibe. He's got the best
guitar name too.
Going on.
It's
But he always seems like the mysterious, like above all the business stuff. But then he also kind of just seems like more into himself and like not as
totally.
But that's what's so good about the movie, right? It's like you watch it as a teenager and you think everyone's more deep, and then you watch it in the 30s and you're like,
I always got Aragorn vibes off of him.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I'm trying to think that there was a lot of cameos in that one. That one of the cool things when you go back and watch like those movies in the early '90s or. Yeah. This was, I think, later, early 2000s. You see all these people that are like so early in their career. Right. Where it's like an all-star cast, but none of them have made it.
Yeah. You're like that. Oh, yeah, that must have been the movie that broke them or something.
Yeah, exactly. They
in a good way, broke them out.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting storylines and all that. Nice, man. Well, dude, Jeremy Lyon. You have the same thing with your last name.
I had that in school. Well, in school, yeah, there was a girl, I think she was in the grade above me or something, Sophie Lyons. So then everyone thought that we were siblings, but we were not, and we didn't look anything alike.
Yeah. Mine was mine was Terrell Owens. You know, everyone just puts an S on the end of my, because we're obviously
you also
kind of
look
the same
totally
people.
the same.
Yeah, exactly.
It's number 81, right? Wasn't T.O. 81 for the Niners? Because he came in when it was like Rice was 80.
Okay.
T.O.
You know
was 81,
better than I do, yeah.
And then they had J.J. Stokes too, right? That was when it was like
Stokes.
Yeah, that was like the three.
I just remember his cell phone.
I have so much like sport, like athletes from like the late 90s, and then I just kind of got into music and stopped watching at least like American sports for.
Were
like
you a
20
jock
years.
growing up?
Yeah, I was a soccer jock. I still love soccer. I'm like obsessed with soccer.
Bro, you got to come play on my squad, dude.
You have a soccer team?
I'm on 2 soccer teams now.
Really?
Yeah.
Where
yeah.
at?
We play on Tuesday nights late at Gilman Fields.
Oh yeah.
And then
they didn't even have those when we were growing up.
Dude, there's 2 leagues out here now, and then I'm on another one, 11v11 men's team. The other one's co-ed. That's going to be on, I think, on Sundays.
Yeah,
it's fun.
I'm down. I was doing like indoor soccer in Santa Rosa. I had like it signed up right before COVID, and then that canceled everything. And then I just joined a team like a few months ago. Tight. And that season just ended. And then I'm touring more for the next few months. So
you ever played that indoor center like on the 116? No, like coming into Sebastopol.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Sports City. I think. I haven't played at that one. I played at the one. Then they have a Sports City at Epicenter, which is like this whole complex with like an arcade and a bowling alley and stuff. And but yeah, so I joined a couple teams for that, and that was the first time I'd played since college, and it was so fun. We like lost almost every game between both teams, but like I'd be like, well, we lost 10-2, but like I scored 1 goal.
There you go. Once I score, I can relax. Until then, I'm like, I'm a failure. Do you play striker up top or
that one is like no one really has. I don't even know anyone's name really on the teams, and like you just kind of switch around.
Yeah,
generally try to go in more up top, and then you get tired after like 2 minutes, and then kind of work your way into defense, and then
running up and down.
Then you guys start losing pretty bad. And you're like, well, I don't care if we lose by more, so I'm just going to hang up top and try to score a goal. I'd rather lose 10-3 than 7-1.
I love that, dude. Where did you go to school?
I went to Redwood Day School, K through 8, which is like off MacArthur.
Solid.
And then I went to high school in San Francisco at Lick Wilmerding High School.
Oh, good old Lick Wilmer.
Yeah, pretty funny name.
We played you guys in volleyball in high school.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. How'd it go?
Did
you guys crush at volleyball?
We crushed, dude. Actually, I was privileged enough to be on a 3-time NCS title team.
Oh,
we had won our division as well, like the league. We just had this like crazy front line that was like we had like a 6'6" Tongan middle hitter, and then other guy was
recruiting.
Like, no, it was public school. No, we went up against like Marin Catholic that did recruit, and that was always a rivalry between my high school and them. And Branson as well. But no, we just got like blessed with this crazy. The other 2 guys were like 6'4" with crazy verticals, and I was just the little back row defensive specialist. You know? But our coach was this amazing guy. Shout out Dan Dibley. Really, really great coach. He's now one of the radio hosts of 95.7 The Game.
Oh, sick.
He's amazing on the air. Like he actually came on this podcast
last
year,
awesome.
which is a big moment for me because he's family friend, but also like I was listening to him this morning. I'm
still in touch with my high school soccer coach,
nice.
Matt Kernick. Yeah, I played like a house show out. He lived on the East Coast and was doing like a solo tour out there, like last summer. And so he had me come out and
hell yeah,
played there, and he comes to some shows. He got me into like a bunch of music. So he got me into My Morning Jacket, which is like one of my biggest influences. He like burned me Evil Urges.
Nice. Oh yeah.
And the Bends, and Radiohead the Bends too. He burned me that CD. And those were like
important.
Super,
I know
super inspiring records.
My high school soccer coach would always come through with the Cuddy 90s hip hop mixtapes for me.
Nice.
Shout out Ayala. I see you, bro. I love you. Ayala was the man. But no, that's important. I mean, I think it's dope when you have that leadership and when you have a coach who's like tuned in to
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably in his
hella
20s
chill,
or
too.
something when he was coaching you, right?
Totally. So. Yeah. Yeah. He's like, got this after school gig. And my dad was super into that. I mean, he's British. He's like a, it's just like a whole other level of fan. But yeah, he was like living in the Excelsior, and then they'd build like a sports complex there. And I just remember like after I graduated, he would still go to like my high school team soccer games, even though I wasn't there. And then like the ref would like kick him out of the game for like being a hooligan, and they'd be like who's your son on the team? And they're like, it's like my son's doesn't even go here anymore. Like, I'm just out for the free soccer games, man, around the corner.
I bet the British accent bought him some extra leash from the refs, though.
A little, not yeah. It's a cultural thing, Screaming.
We had a British dad when I was growing up playing soccer too. That the voice always stuck out amongst the tumult of the crowd.
Yeah,
Gwilly, pass the ball to Morgan, Gwilly. It was just like an inside joke.
Yeah, that's nicer. I remember there was one we'd play because you'd like play these tournaments on the weekends.
Uh-huh.
And there's a team called Eldorado. There's Eldorado where they're, from like near Sacramento, but they were like the best in the state. But there was Cody, and like his mom would just be like, "Go Cody, like kill him!" And it was like super violent, like just like murder them,
break his ankle.
It's like it's not very tactical information, and also like a little too aggressive for like 11-year-olds. Yeah.
You want to shut that window, actually?
Oh yeah.
I don't think these sounds are coming through.
You got all your mail coming through.
Got my mail coming through. I know. I had to get my love letters.
Yeah.
And my hate mail all in one. Tight, dude. How did you get? I wanted to ask you because I've always been curious. What got you started on music? When did that journey begin for you?
Guitar is my first love, and I was like 6. It was I was like in first grade. And then I guess my like first grade teacher had suggested to my parents that I would be into music. And it was kind of right around the time like my parents were splitting up too. So I feel like maybe that is something to, it kind of became like an outlet.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just like, I think I took a few guitar lessons, this guy, David Solis. And then they were like, do you want to keep going? I was like, yeah. So I just had like half size classical guitar and then 3/4 size classical guitar. And then my first little band was called the Fender Benders because we both had Squier Strats.
Sick.
You get like the Squier Strat pack. It was like me and this guy Noah. And we played Hard Day's Night, and we were just standing on top of those little like Fender frontman, like 15-watt solid state amps. And
is that like the garage band package or whatever?
yeah. It's like a Guitar Center. It's like $200.
Sorry, Guitar Center package.
Yeah. And so that was kind of how it started. Yeah, and I was lucky. There was this organization, YPI, but she used to be the music teacher at my grade school, and then she left and she started her own like after school music program. And so I would get lessons through YPI on scholarship, and then I'd be like an intern there, like running like summer camp band, like rock bands and stuff. And then I'd be teaching there. So like in high school, I would just take like the 43 bus, and I'd be like teaching kids after school. Like everyone was just on the same line. So I do like private lessons, teaching them, and running like middle school bands, when I was in high school. And it's been sweet now because she's like semi-retired, she's like in her 70s, but like a bunch of music buddies from the Bay now have been like Daniel Eric's been running it, and like Tracy Holland, who's got a band called Vandella, she like runs the billing and stuff.
Nice.
And I'm like teaching it, and I'm teaching at a school in Petaluma with like Andrew Lubbacher and like just
Oh, sick.
Joey Lynch, just like a bunch of homies. So
hell yeah,
it's cool. Like been able to like help her keep that program going and like get musician friends work and helping it kind of
keep the Bay teaching alliance alive.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of how I started with guitar. And I didn't start singing until like senior year of high school. I had a high school band with Greg too. He plays mandolin, and Brothers Comatose, and Zach, who plays bass with me. He's
did you? Because I remember when we first met, when we made the connection that we both are friends with Ryan Schaefer.
Oh yeah.
Did you guys?
So I played with Ryan Schaefer, and I knew him through Ian McCardle.
Shout out Schaefer.
Yeah.
By the way, my boy.
Yeah, dude, Ryan's. Yeah, we'd play. up in Eugene with Puff Puff Beer.
Oh,
too,
sick.
After
Okay.
that, but yeah, Ryan and I we would jam like I guess like freshman year of high school because through Ian McCardle, I went to middle school with him, and so
Gotcha.
he's an amazing jazz pianist, and then he also played drums like back in the day. I'm not sure if he's still drumming, but he's an insane piano player.
Yeah, that dude's a shredder.
Monster player, and he was teaching my little brother piano for a bit too.
Nice.
Actually, but he connected us because then he went to O'Dowd and was playing with Ryan, and so we,
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. Ryan's a good
times.
dude.
He's a great player.
We just kicked it and watched the Super Bowl together.
Hell yeah.
Rolled over to his
chiller,
house.
man.
Dude, it was so sick. He's one of my...
I haven't seen him in a while. What's he up to?
He's teaching. He's like built a little studio under his house. He's like living right kind of over by the Safeway on Grand. That neighborhood.
Nice. Yeah.
And his parents bought this house, I think years ago or whatever, and he's like kind of managing it and renting. He's got this sweet apartment and doing the lesson thing, and I think still has his musical projects going or whatever. But we had a band together a couple years ago, me and him, and it's just my boy. Like he reminds me so much of Tony, both in his temperament and like in his playing style. And I remember when we were putting together, it was this band called the Hitsville Soul Sisters. It was like a kind
of Motown
vibe. Review with some 90s R&B mixed in there. I was playing keys and I couldn't get my brother, so I was like, okay. I lived with my buddy Grayson at the time, who was like Ryan's roommate in college, and so I'd met Ryan. I was like, hit him up. I was like, yeah, dude, like for sure. And he was great. And
hell yeah.
It's funny. We were talking at the Super Bowl. I don't know if you remember. It was for PlayStation 2. There was this game called I think it was NFL Blitz for PlayStation.
Okay.
And it was like.
Yeah, I mean, I've played Blitz, but not.
Yeah,
not
we all
PS2.
know the original Blitz for N64, one of the greatest games of all time. But so they came out, they tried to like revamp the genre and keep it edgy. So it's like a football game where you can like actively try to injure players. If injuries happen, it'll like show an X-ray of a bone breaking, like an animation. It's very like intense. And then if your player gets injured, like a little like option box comes up and it's like rest him and then he's out for like a quarter or something, or give him the juice, and it cuts to an animation of a doctor like shooting a shot into the dude's ass and he's like, oh, and then he's only out for one play, and it cuts to like him on the sideline and he's like, it's just like kind of jittery
sweating,
and hopping,
like fluorescent.
Oh yeah. And I think like neon. It increases the probability of the player getting injured again, but like you always hit the juice.
It just shrinks his balls.
Exactly. So we were talking at Super Bowl about that game. We got super fired up, and we're going to try to download it, but we couldn't find it. So he's like, I'm going to just buy it online. And then last week I got a text from him that was just a picture of the box. And he's like, bro, you ready? And I'm like, so I got to go over there and play some NFL Blitz.
Got to juice up some injured.
Yeah, dude, juice up some like.
Well, I guess because Madden was out, they have to like kind of carve out their own niche.
Totally,
right? They got to be like, we're like the arena football, you know. It's like
exactly
bigger hits.
It's like the any given fights. Sunday of football.
Yeah,
that's what's up, dude. So, when I met you the first time, I think you were playing in Whisker Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then King Dream has come more recently. Is that
true?
Or is that
well, so what happened was that I started playing with Graham and Papa Bear and the Easy Love. I was playing with Graham through Papa Bear.
Oh, that was the original.
That's when we started playing music together. And then we'd also, I'd known him before. So I had a band called, I'd started a band called Tumbleweed Wanderers with Zach back in like 2011. And then we were touring for like 5 years. And then that broke up in 2016. And then I started playing solo, and Papa Bear brought me into like his whole community. He's like a great kind of connector.
Yeah.
And
we've had him on the show.
Yeah, dude, he's the man.
He's the man.
Papa Bear's the man.
Yeah.
I love him. And so I was playing with him, and like he had me come out to do like Intrepid, which was like a kind of gathering festival he had. Got to play solo out there, and I started jamming with Graham. And then we had like an acid New Year's Day pact at a spot to like because I had solo stuff, and so we had a pact that he'd like produce King Dream record. So that was in 2017. And he came over a couple times just to my apartment. I used to live right around here. I was on 60th and Telegraph.
Nice.
And so he came over. I played him all the songs I had. We picked out a dozen tunes. I got Cody Rhodes and Scott Patton as the rhythm section. I've been playing with them. And I've been playing with Cody and Debbie's band. And I've been playing with Scott. Like I played with him up at Terrapin a bit and with Avi from Gunite, Texas. And so we made that record at Bird and Egg with Nino Michela. And then right after making that record, then Graham has asked me if I wanted to do some stuff with Whisker Man as well. So then I kind of moved into playing with Whisker Man with Dan and Will and Charles as well. So yeah, it was awesome because I was a big Whisker Man fan. That was kind of why I wanted Graham to produce the record. And
right.
I remember buddies in my old band had seen him play like back when they were starting out. And,
I remember
Whisker Man.
seeing you guys for the first time out at Smiley's in Bolinas. My brother, I think kicked it with Graham. Maybe you were there too one night, and he was talking about these dudes that play sick classic rock.
Mm-hmm.
And he took me out, and the show, it was it gave me all my old Zeppelin feels, you know, and it was just yes,
yeah.
I remember laughter. I'm remembering laughter,
Ram's Head with the Levy Briggs vibe. And the other way we knew it was because then Nick, who was the original Whisker Man drummer, he drummed with Tumbleweed on our second album release tour. So we did a couple month national tour with him at the end of 2015. And then when Dan moved, when Dan moved back to New York, then Nick has kind of come back in and been playing drums in the band again. So that's been cool. It's kind of this whole full circle.
I didn't know Nick was the original.
Yeah. And we'd had early, we'd played at Vessel Gallery. It was First Friday, Oakland thing where Whisker Man and Tumbleweed back in the day played, and our buddy Steve Taylor. And we'd played at Du Nord together, 2012. And
playing
we'd
for your
done
supper.
something up at Uptown, at the Uptown, another First Friday thing. So,
nice.
We'd kind of been in orbit for a while. But it was. So I joined once they started making Kingdom Illusion, the fourth Whisker Man album.
Gotcha.
So I remember I came over and Graham had showed me Belly of the Beast and Be Real and The Great Unknown. They'd attract those three right after a big tour they'd done. And Be Real is just one of the best songs I'd ever heard. And I was the first time I heard it, I was this is the best song that anyone I know has ever written. So I was fuck yeah, I want to join.
Oh yeah. That was my first experience of Patzner was you ever been out to Nick Baker's barn in Lagunitas?
No.
You know who I'm talking about though?
I don't think I know Nick Baker.
Nick Baker's an amazing dude up in Marin, and he's has in Lagunitas, it's a beautiful home, his parents' home with this big red barn. And they've been doing for the last few years these kind of concert event series. It's just a big party, and they get a band. The Honey Drops have played there. I'm trying to think. Elizabeth Moen, I don't know if you know her.
Yeah.
They've had
she's great.
A bunch of different groups out there, and it's always a fun all-night party. And I remember there's always jams going around the fire late night, and just remember seeing Patzner. I had no idea who this guy was, but he got up and did the whole Be Real kind of soliloquy monologue thing that's part of that song, and where it just keeps building. And I was just who is this guy? But also this is sick.
Yeah.
And and then later when I got into the music, I remember listening to that song and oh, that's what that was. Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Really dope. Track.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love Anton and Lewis, his brothers too. I remember I'd seen them playing with Mates of State back when I was in high school at Slim's, because they'd be the Lewis plays trombone and cello. They could just be a horn section, and then they'd be a string section on the next song.
Okay.
These guys are wild. And Judgment Day too. They had the string metal band.
Oh, sick.
They used to play with Panda and the Oakland Metro and
okay.
and Blake's and stuff. And Judgment Day were just progressive string metal.
Tight.
They would just shred so hard.
Oh yeah. Where does the name King Dream come from?
I got it from the Sandman comic series by Neil Gaiman.
Okay.
Yeah, me and my wife Caitlin, we were just like, she showed me this comic series and we were reading it, and that was kind of when I was figuring out the sort of solo project thing, and like, you know, you're just kind of always on the lookout for band names, and then that one just kind of.
Is that a character from the comic?
Yeah, that's more. Yeah, it's like one of the names. It's like the king of, you know, the King of Dreams also goes by like Morpheus is like another one of his main names, but Morpheus was like, you know, very
Matrixy.
Very Matrixy, yeah.
Or
like I'm not gonna go around calling it Morpheus,
yeah, right.
but like I just liked the ring, and then it's like one of those names too where you're like, this has to be taken already. Like there's just like two common words.
Yeah, it's a solid name.
But
it's a name that sounds like a band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I'd had like a long band name too. I don't know. There's just something with like the length too, or it's like, you know, if it's too long, people are like, what?
We got into a long discussion the other night. It was like me and Tara, my roommate, and Chris Hoog was over here.
Yeah.
We got into this long discussion just about, you know, what makes a good band name, and the debate of like having an and the band name versus not. You know? I remember when we were trying to come up with like the name for the Optimistics, I was very like firmly like, there's some cool and the band names out there, but I think like I've tried to come up with, I like it when bands come up with like a phrase or a couple words. Like I think there's a strength there that's a lot of times the and the to me sounds like it kind of dilutes things a little bit.
What I would say, well, usually it's the and the is saying that it's a front person and the backing band. Mm-hmm. And over time, then it usually kind of ends up that there can be potentially a rift between them wanting to have some more autonomy over like, well, they were insisting on having their name and the band.
Totally.
Which kind of shows where it is. And for me, it's kind of, I mean, I had it where it was like, well, then if I play solo, is it Jeremy Lyon or is it King Dream solo? And, you know, to me, it's like the full vision is to have a full band. But I feel like when you're starting out, like you have to be malleable too. I mean, it's like, you know, I love it when we have like a 7-piece band on stage and we got 3 guitars and keys and, you know, guests, but like there's not budget for that for a lot of the gigs. So, you want to be able to like open solo for like a national at the last minute when the opener dropped off, you know? Yeah. So we're trying to build up your own name and the name of a project to me it's like hard enough to get someone to remember one thing. So I'd just be like, it's King Dream. If I'm playing solo, it's King Dream solo. Right. But it's the same songs, you know, I don't really, if I play solo, I want to have, you know, whatever the new stuff I'm working on is, or, you know, like if you're playing a full band rock show, you're trying to not, you know, have too many slow songs or something. So there's opportunity to change up the set, but it's still like the same catalog of tunes.
So you're saying that you use the name King Dream interchangeably for your solo and for with the group?
Yeah, it's the name of the project.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. So when you're doing those songs, that's the umbrella term for.
Yeah, because it's like, I mean, it's all self. So it's like I book all the stuff. You know, we arrange the songs as a band, but like I'm paying for the studio time and you know, paying to get the merch made and stuff, and then pay.
I wanted to ask you
pay
actually
the homies, you know, per gig and per like track that we record on and stuff. But you know, I've done the old band, like I did it before where we were all equal partners and made all the decisions together too. And
where do you come down on the democracy versus, you know,
I think
leadership
like,
band models?
I've had it where it's like when you're like in your late teens and early 20s and like, I mean, we like dropped everything. That was all we were doing. Yeah. So you got you feel so passionately about so many decisions and like wanting it to all be democracy. And then now it's like I'm playing a bunch of bands and it's like we're usually the onus is on the songwriter to book the shows and all that stuff. But it's nice because it's like most people have jobs and like, we don't have time to like sit around and think about all these kind of other decisions. So it's nice like to have someone who's kind of taking the lead on it.
Are you writing like most or all of the King Dream music?
Yeah. I write all of it, and everyone who plays in it has other, like Zach's got his own project, and Adam plays like guitar in everyone's band, and Nick's drumming with Kelly McFarling and Whisker Man, and Brittany, his wife, she's got an awesome project that she just started too.
Nice.
So it feels like, and I'm like trying to bring everyone more involved creatively into it too. I mean, what it kind of happened with that project was like, I started out with like a totally different band on the record. And then when I made that record, I was like, I just want to make another record. I don't know if I'm really like trying to be like going to do this full time again. And then I had so much fun doing that then I was like, of course, like I want to, make a run for it again. And was trying to just, book like West Coast tours again. And, when you try to get the top people you can, like, on your record, then everyone's busy for touring and stuff. So there's kind of this natural evolution where I just kind of went back to playing with like my best buds again, and it kind of ended up just for the most part being pretty much the same lineup as like how Tumbleweed had left off, but kind of took like a 5-year sort of full circle thing to kind of get back to that. And then that kind of got us to like 2019, 2020. And we did we made like a 4-song EP, just like singles, just like bangers to kind of, I was like, we're going to go all out on these. We've been like gigging these tunes and then it was locked down. And then instead of like shopping that around, I just kind of built up the home studio and kept writing. And it was like everyone in the band from the time we started making that record to the time that it got mastered at the end of last year, like everyone's moved, like 3 of us have gotten married. Like a lot of life kind of happened over the process of making that record.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Wanted to ask you, what's like what was the process of you? Like, I guess I should start by asking you, how do you define the type of music that is King Dream? Like, how would you describe it to someone when you're telling them about your band?
I think it started off as more like psych rock, and I think then I was kind of, there'd be some stuff I would write that would feel more mainstream. I'd be like, I can't like play this. It's not like heady and weird enough. And then I was like, I just want to follow all the songs to their fruition. And so I think now the new one's more, it's a triple album that I've been working on for 3 years.
Damn.
And I kind of went in 3 different directions. So there's like an alternative rock record that I feel like, it's more like shit like I would have wanted to hear like on Live 105 or something like back, it's a little more, maybe it's a little like 2000s like alternative rock.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully it sounds cutting edge and shit like you've never heard before.
Same but different.
Yeah, and then there's like another set, the middle record's more of like some of it's more psych rock, but then there's also this kind of like bedroom like neo R&B kind of vibe that's like a little more, I don't know, like kind of thick layered vocals and like a bit more groove oriented. And then there's like the more kind of singer-songwriter Americana side, a little more like Father John Misty vibe. So it's been kind of branching out in like 2 different directions. But the live show is like anthemic rock, festy rock.
Nice.
I want to headline Bonnaroo, dude.
When you set out to write when you set out to write a song, I'm curious, like, how does that process start for you? Where do you find that inspiration? Is it something that happens spontaneously? Do you have to like sit down and be like, I'm going to write a prog song, or I'm going to write what is that process like for you as a creator?
A lot of times it starts with a riff for me. I feel like I'm just kind of a guitar player first.
Yeah.
And the longer I've been writing songs, the more I try to have the melody just so intrinsically entwined with the riff or the chords. Like you can tell when someone just like has a standard chord progression, and then like they're just trying stuff out. And it's like the melody and the chords should just sound like one thing that like you can't separate them. And I usually just like play the progression or whatever, over and over. And the more I write too, the more I try to not think about the genre of it at all. So I'm trying to write more stuff where it's like I don't even know what kind of music you would. It's just
it is
it's
what
a
it
strong
is.
melody and it yeah. And usually when it's good, I feel it feels like it's kind of always been there. I don't feel like I'm in the way of it. It's like trying to get out of the way of the song and just let it just like follow the melody,
Follow where it takes you.
Yeah. I feel like the more you can follow it into just what feels right is good. And then lyrically, a lot of times I'll just come up with like a couple lines at a time. I'll be like driving or something, or it's not like I go for walks and just write whole songs because some people do that. And it's great, but it's definitely like, or a lot of times I'll just be sitting on my couch and something will come and just try to follow it lyrically until it's getting worse and then stop it. I feel like lyrics come to me kind of in pieces. It's rare for me to like sit down and be like, I'm going to write a song about love right now from start to finish. It's just kind of like
throw it at the dart, throw the darts at
me.
the dartboard with the words. So would you say that you tend to write your chords or like around the melody, like the melody comes first and then you kind of like hash out what the chords are going to be to support that?
Now it's kind of happening at the same time. Okay. I think if you can write the chords and the melody at the same time, usually whenever you get stuck, one of those two will break you out of it. You know, if you're like trying to figure out where the melody should go, figure out where the next chord's going to go and what would fit over that. And if you're feeling stuck harmonically, lean on the melody and hear where the melody wants to go.
Nice. And what are your like key productive hours?
That's a good question. I think me and my wife, we're on a pretty late night schedule. So for me, it's probably like 5 p.m. till like 4 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah. It's nice getting to record. I mean, it's recording a lot more at home too. It's like you're not on like a pro studio schedule. So it's fun being able to go.
Do you guys keep all your instruments set up, like ready to rumble?
I wish. I'm trying. It's a pretty tight space, so it's like, I mean, we got a good situation out in Bodega for sure. The dream is to have like a mic, like a drum kit fully mic'd up and have all the amps just mic'd up and like ready to hit record,
It's amazing.
I usually have still got to set up a drum kit and mic it up and all that stuff.
It's amazing what like even having your guitar in your guitar bag, like the subtle like barrier that can be to sitting down and playing.
Totally.
Like I like try to keep my bass not in a bag
on hand,
so that it's just like
it's all about those wall hangers. We got like 9 wall hangers or something.
How many guitars do you keep in rotation at any given time?
I've got like three main electric guitars and like a couple acoustic guitars. So about 5 or 6. I have like a 12-string acoustic. There's like a lot of kind of more like blissed out 70s.
You tend to gig with all of them? Like, do you bring your rack out?
I had a period where I was trying to like, I'd be like, this is a Strat song, this is a Les Paul song. And then now it's just like, it's schlepping too much stuff to a gig. And it's also like just trying to get those, trying to get the gaps between songs down, just trying to have quick transitions. So now I kind of just play. I got the Gretsch White Falcon. I've been trying to just play the White Falcon.
Dude, that thing's
live.
Beautiful. I remember with the Cone Brio session, I was like, oh, such a sick color.
One song, third guitar. Yeah. It's super flashy. Yeah.
Even if you didn't play a word as a videographer, I'm like, oh, this thing is just that creamy white and gold. And
I got it in Nashville. I was on a quest. I like called every guitar shop in Nashville when I was playing out there, and one shop had one, and I tried it out, and I was like, I'm gonna like sleep on it, and they're like, like sure, you're never coming back here. And then I was meeting up with this dude who I hadn't seen. I saw the last time I'd seen him, we were stretching him off a mountain when we were 14, and then he like popped up in Nashville, and we met up, and then he was like, oh yeah, we'll meet up at this like fried chicken spot, and I was driving
him
there.
Off a mountain.
Yeah, he'd had some crazy shit had happened where it was like, we were like 14 at like a summer camp hiking through like the Catskills on like a 3-day backpacking trip, and like he like fell behind, and it was like super traumatic for him. But and he was like kind of having like going into sort of like a seizure or some kind of a fit, and so we had to like the counselor is another situations where like the counselor dude who's in charge of this thing is probably like 20 years old, like he's probably freaking out too. But we like cut open a backpack and like made a stretcher and like carried him down a mountain and then like called in to a like 911, and he got like helicoptered out and like went to a hospital, and took super long to recover. He was just like not getting enough oxygen like to the rest of his body. And like I talked to him, he's like, yeah, man, it took like months and years of rehab to like be able to walk again and stuff. And anyway, so I was meeting up with him for lunch in Nashville, and then he sent me the spot, and then I'm like driving there, and it's like the same exact route as the guitar store, and it ended up being like next door to the guitar store, which is just a coincidence, but I was like, it's clearly a sign from the guitar gods that I need to go back to the store and buy this guitar.
Hell yeah.
It's the only way you could interpret that.
You got to have a legend behind your
the
axe,
Google Maps thing, because I was like, did I put it in? I must not have put it in the right location, but then it was mine.
That's epic, dude. That's
the legend of the White Falcon.
Dude, the legend of the White Falcon. That's what you call it, the White Falcon?
Yeah. It says, it's got a little plaque on there on the headstock that says the White Falcon.
Sick. Okay. I love that. Yeah, I had this idea.
Such a ridiculous guitar.
I had this idea a couple years back when my brother was, started getting into building guitars. I was like, dude, I have a great business idea. It's called Legendary Axes. And like you make the guitars, and then I will write a page of lore about the guitar.
Yes.
Like forged in the fiery pits of, this was a lightning bolt was crystallized in a magic stone and embedded in the fretboard. And I'm like, then we could just like sell these like at a huge markup for to techies, who are like home recorders who like are also into like fantasy lore, and everything comes with an authentic scroll.
You'd like burn the edges of the scroll.
Exactly.
It's like seal it in wax and
the whole 9 yards, and because I think that similar to swords, like a guitar it like kind of fulfills that same void of.
It's an axe,
I mean, exactly.
It's more of a dwarf instrument
for sure
than a.
Yeah, what would be the different
than an instrument of man or an instrument of
I think
elf.
orcs would be bass probably, or drums.
Yeah.
Elf would.
Well, you get the warlocks and stuff,
Yeah.
BC rich.
For sure. No, what would the elves play then? What's the elven thing? In a rock band setting, I'm saying.
Maybe violin, I mean, there's not as many violin players in rock, but
true.
I think it's kind of an elven. I feel like there's like multiple violin players I know who like kind of rock the like Men in Tights kind of vibe,
Nice.
Which, so I feel like that, and they kind of have an elven quality to them.
For sure. Or I think, I don't know if you ever saw it. There's this great painting of, it's a Star Wars rock show. And it has like all the characters, and they like nailed the instrument for every.
Oh yeah.
For every player, like Vader's on bass, like just doing this, like floating, double bass, and then, electric bass, but like I think it's like a 6 or 7 string, and then you have Luke's on a Fender, and then Han's on like a semi-hollow or like a Gibson or something. You got like C-3PO and R2 are playing keys. Chewbacca's on drums.
They need synthesizers.
Yeah, they're synth in, and then Chewbacca's on drums, and then Leia's singing vocals, and it was just like spot on, like they nailed all the characters. I love that.
Leia, she could like rip saxophone too or something. That would be tight.
Yeah, like a schmaltzy sax.
Yeah.
Kind of vibe.
Smooth
jazz.
She's got a lot of phases.
Yeah, what Leia are we talking about, with the buns or the Jabba the Hutt?
Right.
Leia? Or
I feel like she wouldn't want the like Jabba the Hutt gig. I mean, she was kind of imprisoned at that point. So
right.
that would be kind of like a long like like a 6-month cruise ship contract or something that she was pretty like over.
Maybe her mid Britney phase kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we'll go earlier.
What's your holy grail? Do you have a holy grail?
My holy grail of gear or of life or
of art? Like, what's the holy grail for you?
Like you're like an artistic statement. I'm like gear,
Yeah,
like a pedal,
right?
Like an electromagnetic.
You got
reverb
plenty of
pedal.
pedals. I've seen your board.
It's too many pedals. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's cliche, but dark side of the moon's got to be a holy grail for me, just because that, you know, it just shapes like everything. Sets off a whole like so much music after it that inspired. It's like not just that record that inspires you, but all the people that record inspired that then you.
It's the
grow up
prototype.
listening to as well.
Yeah, that one was important to me. Did you ever do the Wizard of Oz, Dark Side of the Moon play?
No, I still have not.
Dude, it works.
Sure
it like this is like it pre-internet meme stuff that we're talking here, right? Like I remember in high school, like we did it a couple times, smoked a fat bowl and queued it up to the second lion's roar, and it's pretty like 1-to-1.
Yeah,
like it's simulation theory in effect.
I know. I got to do it. It's not too late. You know?
No, not at all. You got.
I haven't seen The Wizard of Oz in a long ass time. Too.
It's a trippy movie for sure.
Yeah,
but with Dark Side, you know, I think it takes like 2 full run throughs, but it's really that first one where you're like,
yeah,
you know, like
it's all lining up.
Yeah, like the crazy synth song.
Yeah.
Before the like orgasmic woman singing song.
Yeah.
I should know the names of these.
Great Gig in the Sky.
Yeah, I know Great Gig, but the one right before that.
Oh, the synth one.
The synth
On the Run.
On the Run is like during
like
the tornado.
Right.
You know, and
it's all revving up.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And it just, it's like one of those great connections that just stick.
And if you ever ask, like, did you guys know like what you were doing when you made it?
It's like what flat earthers used to be all about. You know what I mean? Like the people that are now getting caught up in the vortex of conspiracies and going down the pipes. Like I remember like growing up, like that's what the theories used to be about, you know? It's like the Grateful Dead or the Pink Floyd Wizard of Oz or it
was a simpler time.
When chemtrails was the worst we had to deal with, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's gotten a lot darker for sure.
I long for the days of chemtrails. So you guys have an album coming out pretty soon, right?
Yeah. So I've been working on this triple album for 3 years. It started as a 4-song EP and then ended up as like a 24-song 3-parter trilogy. Glory Days 4, 5, and 6. Star Wars reference.
Nice. Those are is that the name of the album?
Yeah. So Glory Days 4 is dropping April 7th. We're doing this Europe tour where I started talking about it in like 2019 and then lockdown happened and then I kind of thought that was never going to happen. And then Dominic, the guy, the booker there, hit me up like a year ago and was like, you still interested in doing this? I was like, yeah, man, let's fucking do it. So the record's kind of coinciding with the Europe tour and then I'm trying to get stuff locked in back in the US for the summer.
Nice. How long are you guys touring for?
We're doing like a month.
Sick.
Yeah, so that'll be the longest tour I've done since like 2015, really.
Do you like touring?
I love it. Yeah. I'm an extrovert and I love playing shows and meeting people and you know, I've never really made a lot of money touring, so
that's the trick,
kind of wherever
right?
you go. Yeah. I'm just like hoping to break even. I'm like, well, if we're trying to break even, like we might as well like see some new places too, you know.
Where are you guys? Which countries?
Germany, Austria, and Czech Republic.
Oh, tight.
So I've never been to any of those places, and you know, trying to do some PR out there. So hopefully the word gets out. And there's like a lot of gigs in kind of smaller towns too, where you're like hopefully just the novelty of like an American rock and roll band out in a small town, you know, will hopefully get some people to come out.
it's fun to play with that image. Like I know from traveling, especially in Europe, like getting to play into my Cali broness.
Yeah.
You know, it's like people want that experience. Of like, oh, you're a real one.
Yeah.
You know, like so like getting to be like the American rock god.
I know. Yeah. It's like this whole fantasy that like it goes both ways, you know. But I mean, there's like a lot of it's a lot of American bands that didn't make it in the States and like went to England and Hendrix. He kind of broke big in England first, or like the Killers or Haim more recently. I don't know. I paid some attention to that kind of stuff, where it's like, oh, sometimes you just need I don't know, to be different somewhere.
Yeah.
To get reintroduced to where you're already from as well.
Dude, that corridor, the like Vienna, Prague, Budapest corridor.
Yeah, you've been out there before?
No, but that's like, I have all these trips in my mind, and that's definitely one I want to like hit those 3 cities, and then like the countrysides. You know, you always get somewhere and then you find out about the actual
right after you leave, you're like,
yeah.
oh, we should. Yeah, I'm hoping the rest of the guys in the band will kind of do more research on the places we should go.
Yeah,
I'm like still trying to deliver all this, get the videos and build a link tree and like do all the web stuff and
build the
rent
container
a van and just make sure it's going to run somewhat smoothly.
Totally.
We don't really have any tour manager, merch person.
Will you be TMing for it?
Technically, I mean, I think we'll all be TMing. Zach's kind of TMing too, because he routed the whole tour within like half an hour of me telling them all the shows, and he mapped it all out, which is great because I have no sense of direction. He's got a great sense of direction, so
very valuable skill set.
Yeah, but logistics. That's why we get into music, right?
Spreadsheets. That's what it's all about. So you got to be
hyperlinks.
These days, you got to be a spreadsheet band.
Yeah.
You know. So are you doing 4, 5, 6? Are they going to be spaced out in the release?
That's the plan. Yeah, I'm trying. So I've got vinyl coming for 4. We'll do vinyl for 5 as well, and then we'll put out the triple album as well. I'm trying to have like a whole trifold.
The all in
for
one
the heads.
Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Sick.
Yeah.
And those will be on Spotify as well? Or?
Yeah. I'm putting out a single, Lost Summer. That's the next single. So that's coming out next Friday, March 10th.
Oh, tight.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll coincide the drop of this episode.
That would be dope.
For Friday.
We should do it. Yeah, I just made the single cover. It's like this photo my buddy Andrew took of our old band. Yeah, the whole song's kind of about like I wrote it during COVID, and it's like my little brother he's 10 years younger than me, so he just turned 21, and it was like I was just thinking when we were locked down, and he's like doing college like on Zoom and living with the folks and couldn't like hang out in person with any of his friends. I was like, man, when I was his age, like it was like touring in a band with my best buds, and we like had there was this one night where we were driving home from Colorado, and we like ran out of gas on the salt flats in Utah. We're just like, it was like the middle of the night, but it was great. It was like we just went out and we're just jamming with the guitars, waiting for AAA. And our buddy got this photo that's like, it's like a super slow exposure, I guess. And like, you just see like the Milky Way and shit. And like, there's this whole just like, looks like fucking light beams going across from like the cars. And
sick.
So I just dug up the photo off of our Facebook page from like 10 years ago. And
nice. Are you
super low res, Did
you say are you using that for something? I'm sorry.
That's gonna be the single cover for
it. Oh,
it.
tight.
I just made the single cover. I'm so bad in Photoshop, but
it's
Caitlin, my wife, is great at it, so I'll just kind of be like asking her questions like every layer.
But you hit on such an important topic, because it's funny how life works. Like often, it's like the really like positive or pleasing fun experiences make for worse stories than the bad experiences.
Right. Yeah.
Which often teach us the most and are the most fun to tell after the fact.
Totally.
Right?
I know. Yeah. That's why you gotta like, once some bad shit's going down, you're just like, well, it's going to be a good story at some point,
Totally. And as a creator, a new vein to mine, right? You're mining experience and translating it into art. So
yeah. It's trying to just, trying to remember more details from. It's a nice way to it's a good place to put your memories.
Totally. Sick, dude. Well, dude, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate.
Oh, thanks for having me, Hobie. Yeah,
and
this is hella fun, man.
Hell yeah, dude. Before we go, how can people find you?
Oh yeah, so it's pretty much /King Dream Music, and so Instagram /King Dream Music, Facebook /King Dream Music, and then kingdreamband.com.
Nice.
And it's on Spotify and YouTube. There's a YouTube channel and stuff. I just put out a live video today for You and Me versus the Human Race, which we filmed that just like in the shed.
Cool.
At our spot, and I mixed that.
And one more time before we go, the album release date?
April 7th.
April 7th.
Yeah, so there'll be vinyl.
Which might be today. We're going to aim to get this out. So go listen to it today when you're done with this. Check it out.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, bro. Well, dude, thanks for coming on, man. Much love. Thank you guys. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Much love. Peace.